Hello there. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Sandy with Quilted Treasures and More here. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you moms have had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you have a great week ahead. Today, we are going to we're going to be painting some patriotic flip-flops. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But what's been going on around the crafting table this week? Well, we started out doing a couple of things, another ball season themed door hanger. I've done quite a few of those. You may have seen that where it has a baseball or a softball, and it says, if we're not home, check the field. And so I got to do another one of those this week. Also worked on a pool themed door hanger. So that was pretty cool. Got to play with some neon colors. And something really cool that I got to be a part of this week. My hubby and I actually worked on designing a door hanger together. So, and yes, we are still underneath the same roof. So, in case you're wondering, uh, it's so funny because people talk about building houses and they're like, "Oh, yes, that was the biggest test of our marriage." So, so that I find that funny, but I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're doing a sub test here with working together and designing door hangers. All right, so what's on the crafting table? I told you it's patriotic flip flops. So we're gonna get started on this, and y'all, I gotta tell y'all, I found this stuff. It's called Galaxy Glitter. I was working on the Door Dazzle box this week and getting things ready to do the next reveal, which will be happening in a few short weeks. And so I was starting with the door hanger and getting it done. And I actually used some of this Galaxy glitter. It's very, very sparkly. Let me get my hand where I'm in the I don't know if you can really tell. It's very, very sparkly. So, for those who are not sure about loose glitter on things that you paint, this is a glitter paint, and so I had so much fun with that this week. And so I pulled it out. I'm like, should I add it to this one? Should I not? So, anyway, we'll see where it goes. All right, let's get started on the patriotic flip flops here. So of course this is going to be red, white, and blue. And so we are going to start with the white, try to get the light colors in first, or the lightest of the colors in first. And what I'm going to do, got to check my color order here. Where'd my picture go? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to start on this one over here. So I am going to work on, let's see, we're going to work on this one being white. And actually that should get me pretty squared away for this one, so I can get off of my example picture. And real quick, I will check the feed. Looks good. I always have to check with Facebook because you never know. I'm actually checking also here on the right of me. I've done a new little setup here with my cameras and whatnot. And you can see more of the table from overhead. Oh, wow, that looks really cool. I can tell where I've uh, painted by looking in the camera. Oh, neat. Um, so I set up the camera that I usually use for my time lapse over here to the right of me. But I did not think about the fact that I am right-handed, and so I just looked over and discovered my arm is all in the shot. So, man, The things that you don't think about when you're doing these setups, and then when you start, you're like, "Oh, should have done that differently." So yeah, this is probably not going to be a time lapse that I keep. Sometimes things just happen and I just don't get to keep the time lapse of different things that I do. And I have a feeling this is going to be one of them. So the Patriotic Flip Flops that I'm working on, this is actually one of the choices for a paint party that's coming up. And so as I get ready for paint parties, I try to paint the examples of what's been chosen. That way, the folks attending the paint party can check out how it's being painted and kind of watch ahead of time. But it's also cool because you get to see some of the options of what people are picking at paint parties to do for paint parties. All right, so I base coated this one white simply because I'm using red and blue, and sometimes the red, it just does better if you've got a white base coat on there. So I base coated it white prior to, and now I am simply coming back and putting another layer of white. So that way the white will be nice and bright. And see, we're going to do that one white. Okay. All right. So, yep. All I get in my time lapse is my arm, y'all. I'll have to redefine where I put that camera because I can't see what I am painting. Last week I did the truck with the little honeybee in it. The time lapse for that turned out so cute. I've gotten hooked on time lapse videos. Um, they're really cool just to post as a quick, not really a lesson, but a quick example of what I paint. I think my brain is on shutdown. I had a really, really super lunch. My father-in-law did steaks. Oh my goodness. They were so good, y'all. And I ate way too much. Oh my goodness, did I eat way too much? I'm not going to tell you what all we had. I'll just leave it at that. He grilled some steaks for me and my mother-in-law, and well, for the rest of them too, but they were delicious. I was so stuffed afterwards. And I think my brain is just kind of gone, "Ah." Okay, I'm gonna check this over real quick, see if maybe I need to touch up just a little bit here or there. May actually see more after I get things going with the red. So, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get it over with. I have a blonde hair that managed to make it to the tip of the flip-flop. All right, so if you are on, give me a shout. Tell me hello. Also, don't forget about Mailbox Delight. We are in a new month. So if you share or spread the love, sprinkle the love, there's a variety of sayings for that. For the video, come back, comment sprinkled. I will put your name in our Mailbox Delight giveaway. At the end of the month, I draw a winner and you get some happy mail. Something in your mailbox besides bills and junk mail. And we all want that, right? Just remember, if you spread the love or sprinkle the love, come back and comment sprinkled, and that way I'll know to put you in the hat for the drawing for Mailbox Delight in the month of May. I know you're probably thinking, didn't she just say she was going to go on to the red and come back? Yes, I did. Split second decision there. Oh, I'll go ahead and finish the white while you've got the white on the paintbrush. And if you're watching this on replay, you can still sprinkle the love and just comment sprinkled, and you will still be entered in the giveaway. So whether you are watching live or on the replay, if you spread the love to friends and family, remember to come back and comment sprinkled, and I will add your name to our giveaway for the end of the month. Speaking of giveaways, a big congratulations to our 100 follower giveaway winner, Miss Rhonda Sprinkle Peterson. That's how she's listed on Facebook. I just know her as Rhonda Peterson. Congratulations again, Miss Rhonda. She is the winner of the next Door Dazzle box, which I am currently working on and will be revealing very soon. All right, so that's 2 extra coats besides the base coat on the white. And so we will now go to red and get our red stripes, and then we'll move to the blue straps. All right, just to save time, I am just going to switch brushes. I'm not going to worry with trying to get brushes rinsed out between colors. I'm just going to jump right in with another brush and keep going. All right, so we've got a little bitty stripe up there. And then we get into our full stripes here. Now, when I was tracing this out, I actually ran the stripe through the middle of the strap, but I'm not worried so much about that because that's going to be a blue color, and it's a pretty true blue. And so I'm not worried too much about the lines that I accidentally put through the straps. This one was not laser cut and laser edged. I had one last week that was. That's our that's the next step that we have taken with Quilted Treasures and More in the door hangers. We are now getting the door hangers laser cut and laser etched. So that means that they are more precise in measurements and details. It was so funny. I've been painting the ball season ones, the check the field, and because have always used paper templates, you print out the template and then you piece it together and tape it together. So I discovered this past week that the I in field actually had a small dot in the middle of it. Now, I've lost track on how many of the field ones I have actually painted this year. It's been uh, it's been the popular one this year. But my template, the paper template, because of the way it printed and was cut or printed and lined up when I taped it together, the dot didn't show up. So then when it was laser cut and laser etched, the dot showed up. And it was so funny because I was painting and I looked at it and I went, "What is that?" I'm like, "There's a dot in the eye. It's a little bitty dot." And I actually painted it, actually included the dot in that one, but I was thinking, this dot is so doggone tiny. I debated even adding it in or just making the dot over the eye solid. But it was just funny because um, now I wonder, okay, how many details got lost because the pages overlapped? And in cutting them out and taping them, I missed them. So it's just the things you find out when you make changes and do different things. Y'all, I changed the overhead camera just a little bit, repositioned it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I still on camera? So it's kind of crazy to look up and still see that I don't have to move. I don't have to move what I'm working on. And it's funny how, I mean, I didn't make any major changes. All I did was change where the stand is sitting, and it went from mostly being able to see what I was doing to uh, now you can see all of it while I'm working on it. So I'm just like, it's one of those things where I have a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, maybe. I'm still thinking upon this one. Maybe there are times when if you shift, it will improve, will improve whatever it is you're currently working on. All right, so what do I need to tell y'all about here while I'm painting? I jotted some notes down here. I told y'all that this is, I'm painting this because there's a paint party coming up where this is Sorry, I'm having to think hard on this curve, and I don't know why. It's just a curve. I'm like, I must concentrate. I have a paint party coming up, and this is one of the options for the paint party. And so, speaking of paint parties, I am now booking paint parties live and in person. You can still do online paint parties if you're not comfortable with in-person paint parties yet. You can still do online paint parties. A lot of folks are just really excited about being able to do things in person, and so there are a lot of I say a lot. I've been contacted by several who want to host in-person paint parties. So I have been booking paint parties, and I have dates. I've opened up the calendar for July, August, and September. So that is, so those months are open now for booking in-person paint parties or online paint parties if you'd rather go that route. You can comment below and ask me to message you about that, or you can message me or text me. Or if you'd like more info, simply put "more info, please" in the comments and then leave me a email address so that way I can send you more info. And on another note for paint parties, I just happened to remember or happened to think, I am currently working on a paint party live, and this will be an in-person paint party, and it's coming up in the month of June. That's what I'm shooting for. It will be hosted by Quilted Treasures and More. So I will be putting more details out about that in the days to come, the weeks to come. Probably won't be this week, but in the weeks to come, there will be more details about Paint Party Live. And again, that will be hosted by Quilted Treasures and More. So if you are in the Mobile area and want to be a part of a in-person live paint party, keep watching for details for that. And that will be in June. Also working on some things coming up in the fall, getting details and information about some other opportunities and things. So constantly looking and seeing what else we can add and do. And that's not only to, you know, it's not only to see what I can add to my list, it's to see what we can do to promote crafting and creativity and even learning. But shh, don't say that too loud. All right, so we're working on the second coat of our red for our Patriotic Flip Flops. We've got that side done, and now we're going to move. Y'all, I've got a haircut appointment this coming Friday, and I am super excited because I have this one little strand of hair right here that is always coming around and tickling my nose, and it's about to drive me crazy. I'm like counting down. I feel like it's New Year's. I am counting down until I can, get my hair cut. So my daughter says she'll just be happy when I stop complaining about the fact that my bangs are all in my face. So she's counting down too, but it's for a different reason. My daughter is my sweet helper when it comes to paint parties and doing different things, and she helped me with the craft show. She hung out with me while we were at the craft show and helped me get things set up and torn down and packed up and unpacked. And so I know today is Mama's Day and all, but I'm a very blessed mama with a very beautiful, talented, and sweet girl. Well, she's not a little girl. She's actually taller than I am, but I always tell her, "You may be taller than me, but I weigh more than you do." You know us mamas. We have to have our lines that keep them in check. Yeah, you may be taller than me. Oh, she heard me talking about her. She heard me talking about her. She's over here looking at me. My sweet, beautiful girl that made me mama. Officially gave me the title. All right, so there are the red stripes. So we've got our white stripes, our red stripes. Now what we have to do is get the blue straps put on, and I have no idea what is now on my white stripe there. Hmm. I know, I've touched that up in a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to grab the blue, grab another brush. I've actually got a filbert tip brush for this one, and that is simply the flat brush that is round on the end. I'll show it to you. There we go. And I am going to use that one to do the straps. Now, filbert tip brushes come in handy when you've got a curve, like on this curve here on the strap, because you're not fighting with the flat side of a flat brush to get in that round curve. I did that with letters the other day. Y'all, I was so mad at myself. I'm halfway through the letters and I realize I'm sitting here fighting with a flat tipped brush to get into these little round sections. What am I thinking? And, you get distracted, you're thinking about things, and I was just sitting here painting away, fighting with the flat tip brush, trying to get in the in the curve. Uh, all right, so I told y'all that I had these little lines over here on this side where I I was tracing the stripes because, again, this is probably one of the last ones that I actually cut out by hand, cut out with my jigsaw. It was kind of one of those deals where, you're excited to see things go to a next level in life, whether it's in a business or uh, with your career or education or something like that. And so I was super excited that, things have worked out so that we could have uh, laser cut, laser etched door hangers. But at the same time, it was kind of sad because as I was cutting some of the last door hangers, it was like, but this is going to come to an end. So, it's like watching a one when you start to get to the end of one chapter in a book and you're just thinking, "Oh my goodness." But keep reading because the next chapter may be even better. So, that's how I've had to think about it. By having by having our door hangers done done with a laser, that means that they're very very clean, and as far as the cuts go and the etchings, very precise in the measurements. And so, that's an exciting chapter to move into. Not all door hanger hobbyists or businesses are able to work things out to have that option. And so that's very exciting. It also means that it gives me more time to work on orders, and orders, you know, won't take as long. I still have some of the weather aspect to deal with because I still I still have work outdoors to get them seal coated. So still have to deal with the weather. Still have to watch the forecast and duck and dodge rain and things like that. And so you know I have not changed my time frame for when the estimate I give for door hangers, which is usually 2 to 3 weeks delivery time from the date of order. And I do that to give myself a nice safe window to deal with weather issues. But just like watching your kids when they hit milestones and take steps and reach the next level in their lives, it's exciting to watch your hobby or your business or your career, whatever you're working on or the goal that you're working toward. It's cool to watch it go to that next level because you feel like, oh man, I have uh, I've put in time, I have invested, poured myself into this, and now you're watching it, you know, grow, and you're watching it develop. And so, whether you're doing a full-blown business or just a hobby thing on the side, or even within your career itself, if you have the ability to take uh, a course. I've been working on some business courses, workshops, and things. I say business courses like I enrolled in college. Some of the work that you have to do, you're like, oh my goodness, is this a workshop or is it a college class? So, uh, there have been some digging and some things that I've had to look into, even in workshops and things concerning business and web page design. That's been my thing this week. I've tried to look into a couple of nights, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, my goodness. So we shall see. All right, so just putting the second coat on the straps, getting that really pretty blue. And what I'm gonna do, heard a crazy noise outside. I don't know if it's, I'm always hearing crazy noises. We have neighbors that work on motorcycles, so um, periodically you'll hear a motorcycle crank up. And what's funny is they're not like next door neighbors, they're um, like around the corner neighbors. But you still hear things going on, and sound travels and all that good stuff. So, all right, I'm not sure what happened to the strap over here, but I'm gonna try to fix it. All right. Man, this is like the chip and the dip thing. I get down to the last little bit of the stripe and I've got to go back and get more paint. If y'all don't know what the chip and the dip thing is, it's like you get chips, you get dip, and then you either are running out of chips and still have dip, or you're running out of dip and still have chips. And this is one of those things that I have to go back and get one of the other in order to make it the proper ratio. Because, I mean, you don't want to throw away good chips, and heaven forbid you throw away good dip. All right, y'all. I like that color blue. This is not the color blue that I used originally when I did the original pair of Patriotic Flip Flops, but I like this color blue. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry for just a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some little detail to the white. And what I mean by detail is that I am going to do, and I'm looking for an angled brush right at the moment, or I may just use another flat brush. Nope, oh, that's my broke one. Y'all, this was my favorite brush for the longest time. I refused to throw it away when it broke. I just taped it back together. And what's crazy is I actually got a new thing of brushes, and it has the same size in it, but I refuse to throw this one away. Because, I mean, what if something happens to the new one? I have to have a fallback, y'all. I know, I know. Here it is. Here's the new one. It's the same size, but I don't want to throw the other one away. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of a, I'm not sure what you'd call it. Just watch me. Watch what I do, and then you'll understand what I'm doing, maybe. Where do I want to start? Let's start at the top. Let's start at the beginning. Go for the beginning. That's always the best place. Get a little more white. I actually got too much of the brown color, but that's okay because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I can go back over it with white and thin it out. I don't want to say that I'm making it have dirt streaks on it because that's not what I'm trying to do. All I'm doing, in case you're wondering, I'm dipping in the white, okay? So the majority of the brush is in the white. And then I'm taking that just itty bitty, teeny tiny tip and just putting the ever so slightest bit of, this is called mocha. And so it's a light brown. And I'm just creating a little, I don't really know that you'd call it a shadow, but just giving it some streaks. Originally, I did this with a round brush. This time I'm using an angled brush just to see what it looks like. Now what I'm probably going to do, because I just did it with this and I like this look better, I'm going to go back over with a little bit of white. So right here on the tip end of this one, I actually went back over one more time with the white. And so what that does is that helps to lighten it up just a little, which is what I don't want it to be bold. I just want it to be just a little bit of color in there. So if I go over it with the white, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm just trying to make it fade a little, if that makes sense. Because I don't want you to look at it and go, oh wow, it's got brown streaks on it. That's not the goal. When you do this type of shading or accent marks is another way to put it. I'm just wanting to add a little bit of color. And again, I can always come back and go over that with white and lighten it up just a little bit more. And I'm not making them the same on every one. I'm doing some on the left, some on the right. This one actually has two. So now all I'm going to do is come back and go over with the white and just kind of fade it a little. You can also do this with a little bit of water. Dip your brush in just a little bit of water, put a little bit of white on it, and go over it and fade it out just a little more. And sometimes I'll go back and even do that just to blend it, help to blend the colors. All right, I may play with that a little bit more here in a little bit. Right now, nope, I don't need to get rid of this. Right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get white again. And I am going to put some polka dots on the blue straps. So we're going to add some polka dots. Let me check my example picture real quick. Yep. And then let me make sure everything looks okay with Facebook. Wonderful. I have to check periodically because if I don't, something will go wrong and I'll never know. All right, so all I'm doing with this is I'm taking my sponge pouncer, putting it in the paint, and then what I'm doing is wiping the excess, get here where you can see, off on the side. That way, when you look at it, there's even, you want to make sure that there's an even amount of paint, okay? You don't want it to be clumped up. And then what I do is I just push down just a little bit and then give it a little bit twist and pick it straight up. So push down, a little bit of a twist, straight up. If you noticed, I did not go back for paint every time because there's usually a good bit of paint on the sponge, and so usually you can get away with doing several before you have to go back and get more paint. The nice thing too about wiping the paint off on the edge of like the egg carton is that you can always go back and pick this up just like I did there. I just scraped it off and put it back in the middle. Dip your sponge back in it and then wipe it off again. It's very nice because there's less waste that way. Oh, I went a little too far with that one. Man, I wasn't paying close attention. Whoop. All right. Now, get a little more white paint and we'll do the other side and then we'll start doing our outlining. And yes, I'm still debating on using Galaxy glitter on the white polka dots, in case you were wondering. Since I mentioned it earlier, I'm like, you know, just a little bit of glitter. Just to make it sparkle. I mean, it's patriotic. It's 4th of July. It's Flag Day. Yep. Missed that one just a little bit. Now, with flip-flops, they're pretty cool because you can actually add little bows on both of the straps. And you have to wait for it to dry and all that good stuff, and to be seal coated before you can put your bows on. But what I may do is do a quick little video of making the bows once I get these seal coated and ready to go. All right, there are our polka dots. I'm going to let those dry just a little bit. And then what I'll probably do, I'm not good at making circles. So what I usually do is I start with a sponge pouncer and I get my polka dots. And then what I'll do is I'll take a tiny brush and I'll take the white and just kind of fill in a little bit, especially if, like with this, it's on the blue background. So the white's actually going to, once it dries, get a little thin and you'll be able to see the blue. Now, some people like that look. If you like that look, then you can leave it that way. I personally like to have it a little more solid. And if I'm going to add the glitter to it, still debating on that, then what I want to do is make sure that the white is very, very solid. Okay, let's see. I was looking at my originals that I did, and it's so funny because I probably did these about a year ago. And so I'm looking back, looking back at this, going, wow. I think what I am going to do is actually put some lines in between, but they're not going to be really thick lines. I'm going to go with uh, some thin lines, I think, and see how it looks. Let's give it a shot and see what it looks like. This will make this different from the other pair. So I think I'm going to put the dividing line here. That way you can see where the difference is between the two flip-flops. All right. And I'm going to come over here and do this line. Like I said, I did not do this on the first pair that I did. But I'm going to do it on this pair, just to have it a little different. See if I can come over here and not get all in the paint. Yay! I don't have any paint on me. Shh. Don't say that too loud. If you've been around and watched me very much, you know how I end up always having paint all over my hands. I've had it up my arm. And wondering, how in the world did I get paint? I didn't even put my arm near, but hey, it happens. Y'all, I think I am liking, especially with this brush tip pen, paint pen that I have, I am really liking how these little outlines are turning out because it's not a straight, it's not the same width. The line is not. So it kind of ebbs and flows, and I'm liking that. All right, let's see. I should have started at the top and come to the bottom. But hey, we're here. We're gonna roll with this. Make sure I didn't stick my hand in the blue or the white. The paint pens I've always used are always the just the marker, what I call marker tip type pens, and so I'm still learning holding and controlling this brush tip pen because it's a little bit different. But I like it because it has more of the look that I did it with an actual brush rather than a paint pen. So I like the way it looks, and I like the way that I can make the line skinny or a little thicker. Bless you. We are all dealing with something that is blooming around our house, and so we take sneezing fits periodically. So if you hear someone sneeze in the background, it's one of us. Well, I won't sneeze in the background. I'll be, sneezing basically in your ear, but if you hear other sneezing in the background, just know it's one of the others in the household. All right, y'all. We are just about there. Okay. Now, what I want to do is go around the straps, and for that, I'm going to turn this around. Okay. So I want to work so that I'm not and I just stuck my finger through paint, but I am really hoping that that was dry. Yes, it was. Good, because I was a little concerned. All right. All I'm doing is outlining the outside of the straps. And if you remember, those were done in marker. Okay, so there is strap number one. Now I'm going to turn it around to the other side. Found a little place where I missed a couple of points. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go down this side. Just tracing around the straps, and we are coming up to the finishing of the Patriotic Flip Flops. Now, I'm not going to trace around the polka dots. Those are just going to be left the way they are. But what I want to do is go back and touch them up with some white paint, because looking at them, they're starting to dry and you can start to see the blue through the polka dots. So what I want to do is simply make them a little more solid. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to put this up and we're going to do one more round on the polka dots. And I am just going to get a small filbert tip. There we go. And just find my white. Whoop, gotta have some more white. And just fill them in real quick. So I'm not going to get like right up on the edge. All I'm doing is kind of staying in the middle. And just filling it in with another coat. And if you're wondering, well, why don't you do it again with a sponge pouncer? I have tried, and one time it all worked out really well. And then I've had other times where it did not work out so well because I did not get the the sponge pouncer right on top of the dot, the polka dot, and so I ended up with offset polka dots. So I found it is just easier for me to just come back and go over with another coat of paint and a small brush, and all I do is just stay to the middle. I don't go right up to the edge. And the reason being, I know me, I'll end up outside the line and I'll have to clean up my mess. So I just kind of stay in the middle. I'll get close, but I don't come right up to the edge. And that way I fill in the little empty spots, but I don't run the risk of having lopsided polka dots. Now you can add more details to this. I did not add lines to the red stripes. You can do that. You can go back with white and add white accent lines, or you can add black accent lines. And I did not do anything around the edge this time. Last time I did outline, but I did not use the black lines between the stripes last time. So this pair is just a little bit different. Sometimes I like to vary them up so that I don't feel like every one that I do is just identical to the one before. And sometimes I'm just looking to see if, you know, hey, if I do this instead of this, does it improve the look? Do people notice the subtle change in this one more, or do they notice this one more because I made this change? Okay. You could even go back and do a third because again, you're on top of blue, so just kind of make sure that if you go back and do a third, that that it is actually dry. Because if you, some colors, and white is one of those, some colors you'll end up pushing the paint around rather than uh, getting it covered. And sometimes fixing those places where you've pushed the paint around is not fun. I have had to do that more than once. I'm gonna let these dry good, and then still thinking about adding some glitter to it, but I don't know. I may just leave them white. If I did the glitter, it would be definitely different than the first ones that I did. All right, so I'm going to finish up these last few, getting just one more, and I think I'm getting into a few that are just still a little bit damp. So I want to be careful not to push paint around. I'm going to finish up these last few, and then we're going to wrap it up here for this Mother's Day, Sunday evening. All right, y'all. There you go. There's the Patriotic Flip Flops. And what I'll do is I will get these seal coated, and then I may do a short little video and post it on doing the small or the little ribbons, little bows that I actually put on the toes. And that's, that's always an optional thing. And so I just think they're super cute since they're flip-flops. Either paint a flower on the toe, right here on the toe part, or either put bows. So I have a lot of fun with the bows on the flip-flops. All right, so thank you so very much for watching. Again, happy Mother's Day. And don't forget, if you'd like to be a part of the e-newsletter list, you can comment below, add me, and I will include you in the e-newsletter. And um, that actually goes out tonight. And so I will try to get you in and get you this week's e-newsletter, but if not, you'll be in the list for next week. Also, if you're interested in paint parties, either in person or online, you can comment below with paint party and I will message you, or you can message me or text me and I will get you more information. And speaking of paint parties, don't forget, I'll be sending out info in the weeks ahead about Paint Party Live, and that is coming up in June. Y'all have a fantastic week. And again, happy Mother's Day.